Good morning and welcome to the 8:15 Daily Operations Weather Brief. This morning we are once again seeing mostly clear skies out on the base this morning with a few thin high-level clouds drifting in overhead as a result of a weak and dry cold front that is moving through the area. As we move through the day today, we'll see those winds slightly increase during our working hours before we see a shift towards what would be considered a more light and variable wind in nature later this evening. However, overall, we should be in store for a nice dry day with temperatures coming in much closer to our seasonal averages, unlike what we have been experiencing over the previous week or so here in the local area. Now looking at this morning's surface analysis chart, we can see that we do have high pressure continuing to persist over the southeastern region of the United States, and that is working to keep us dry with these mostly clear skies, and that will persist throughout the afternoon. And as that high pressure begins to move offshore later today, we'll see our temperatures peak in the low to mid 50s, with our overnight lows anticipated to drop down into the 30s, and that is until Thursday, in which we do see a change up in the overall pattern that will set the stage for a strong cold front to move through late Thursday into early Friday, and that will bring some moderate to potentially locally heavy rainfall and gusty conditions out of the southwest, and that will likely necessitate the need of a wind advisory during and if not just after that frontal passage on Friday. Then by midday Friday, we'll see that front start pulling away from the local area, and as a result, those skies will clear up rather quickly, and we'll see some cooler air pull in from the backside as those winds begin to shift out of the northwest. Now, taking a look at our current weather observations out on the field this morning, we do have a few clouds out there at 5,000 feet and then a scattered layer at 20,000 feet with unrestricted visibility. And our winds are out of the southwest at about 6 knots with a temperature of 40 degrees and a relative humidity around 54%. Taking a look at this morning's satellite imagery, we can see here that light cold front that is continuing to push that cloud cover further away from the local area with those breezy conditions following in behind. We can also see some cloud cover building in from the west, and that is going to continue to do such throughout the day. However, it should remain in the generalized scattered category, not becoming too overcast in nature, and we'll see that for a majority of the day today as we move into tomorrow before we see that actual frontal feature reach the local area. Now, for our model analysis today, we're taking a look at the HRRR. This is a high-resolution model that is on a 24-hour loop, and we can see here that high pressure has taken very firm control over the local area, and we don't have any rain modeled for the next 24 hours. Scattered showers and some light lake effect enhanced precipitation up north, but in the local area very dry for the next 24 hours until, unfortunately, on Friday we'll see that change rather dramatically. Now, for the 24 hours ahead, we'll see that scattered cloud cover throughout most of the day. Our temperatures do look to climb into the low to mid 50s and drop into the mid 30s tonight. For our winds, they do appear elevated in the earlier hours of the forecast period and then begin to die off as we move into the evening and the early hours of tomorrow morning. And our chart does remain green as there are no real weather-related concerns for the next 24 hours ahead. Now, for the short-term risk chart here, we definitely have some color moving in to the next day or two. On Thursday, we do look good with cloudy conditions expected and a high of 58. However, Thursday night, especially later in that evening period, we'll see again cloudy conditions. Those breezes will start to build in, and the chance of showers certainly coming into play with even the chance of a rumble of thunder passing through with a low of 50. So on Thursday night, definitely a good chance of precip, a slight chance of seeing some lightning and thunder and hearing some thunder, good chance of a wind advisory and lowered ceilings to follow. And then Friday night, much of the same, a little less chance on that convective activity, so not as high of a chance of getting a clap of thunder. However, those winds do look to pick up even more so in the wake of that frontal passage, and those clouds do look to remain rather low as we move through Friday. However, once we get to midday, we should see all of those conditions start improving rather quickly, and for Friday, it does look like we will see a high of 60 degrees. And that is going to conclude the 8:15 daily weather operations weather brief. We'll be back at 10 o'clock with the 7-day outlook, and hope everyone has a fantastic day.